our price tag. And that's because the price tag never sells with Otis. As the largest company, there are oftentimes a lot of associated overhead costs that smaller companies simply don't have. You couple that with the high investments in research and development that results in our superior technology, and it becomes easy to understand why Otis will never have the smallest price tag. Instead, we have to rely on the aforementioned approaches and trust the customer recognizes our superior quality and technology when making their decision. So, as the simulation carries on, we will assume at this point we successfully put together a reasonably priced bid that allowed the property manager to make the call to accept the Otis Elevator offer and take advantage of our technological benefits and superior quality. So where do we go from here to make sure the relationship isn't fractured a year later and the next time the sale comes around, the customer turns to someone else? The answer is in our world-class service. The first thing to take into consideration with service is that this is where all the money is at. Although sales are evenly split between service and new construction, the profit margin heavily is in service, as you can see with the graph in the top right. It's important to secure the new construction projects, however, i.e. getting our Gen 2 elevators installed, because then the customer will likely turn to us for service, which is how we make our money long term. The way we do this usually is that when we put together our new construction bid, we include service from Otis for the first X amount of months, which depends on the customer. It could be 6, it could be as small as 6, and I've seen personally as large as 42 months. The point is, we want them believing that our service is superior by giving them a free trial before they even get the chance to ask anyone else about theirs. But what does make Otis' service better? And I believe the answer is in our unique service offerings. If a customer signs on with Otis for servicing their elevator, they're signing up for likely the best mechanics in the area. Because as I said before, Otis is the biggest, best, and highest paying elevator company, which is why our price tag is usually higher. But aside from the experienced mechanics, we have unique features that no other company have. First is that Otis has an app called Otis eService, where property managers can always be fully informed of the condition of their elevator and when the state-required tests were conducted. And finally, when the mechanics came in for their scheduled service and potentially when and why shutdowns happen. The most attractive service offering that we have, in my opinion, though, is Otis Pulse, which is an Internet of Things device that sits right above the machine and monitors the condition of the belts, which are typically the most frequent fail point in an elevator. And it monitors the belts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So instead of having a mechanic come back once a month or for whatever their regularly scheduled visits are, to do things such as oil the belts and replace the shift brushes, which sometimes might not even need replacing, it can be done on a need-be basis. That might mean once in 14 days if the elevator is getting old, or more likely with new elevators, several months or up to a year. This saves not only the mechanic's visits, but it also saves the property manager money. So instead of having to have the mechanic come on site more frequently, the mechanic can view the condition of the elevator and machine from their phone, and more times than not, decide that a visit is not required today. There are a bunch of other benefits that I could dive into, but for the sake of time and my own personal satisfaction with the project thus far, I will wrap my project up here. I appreciate you listening, and if you have any questions, I've attached my school email, which I check quite frequently, or if you happen to be in Las Vegas this summer, feel free to reach out because that's where I'll be spending my summer. Thanks again for listening.